Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Veil Live. This is me, Dustin Barr, your host. Figured I'd add something different today and catch you off guard. And I have a whole lot to share with you. All right. I have been setting up this live stream over the last night and into this morning. And I really was putting together a whole lot of stuff. And then next thing you know, something happened about an hour and a half ago that kind of confirmed all this for me. So I was like, well, I need to add this to it. And altogether, I believe I have something to present to you guys that will truly open your eyes to what's happening, what's been happening, and what's gonna happen. All right. This stuff can be, like I say all the time, pretty heavy, pretty hard to handle, pretty hard to swallow at first. Okay. It can also, by the way, I'm not showing any viewers. I'm not showing any comments right now, which I'm perfectly fine with, but that's a little abnormal. Hopefully this is working. Hey, Amy, can you tell if this is working? Facebook's been fighting me. I'm being heavily restricted, and can you get on my live stream and see if it's working? It's not showing anything. I'm hoping you guys can see me and hear me and stuff okay. If not, it's okay. It does say that I'm live, so I'm just going to go because this is very, very important. At least there won't be no distractions today. All right, so anyway, back to it. I have something to present to you guys that if it doesn't open your eyes, okay, my wife says it's working, that you guys can see me and hear me. Okay, cool. It's like Facebook knows I don't want to see some comments sometimes and I want to focus. All right, this stuff that I'm going to be presenting right now, if it don't open your eyes are sealed closed. And if this don't open your ears, you got earplugs in, all right? This stuff here is pretty alarming, pretty shocking, but you can't let it scare you, all right? The word says this. It talks about during the end times, and it tells you not to be caught in unawares, not to be one of those that's caught unaware, all right? We're in the time where there's a pouring out of knowledge, there's an increase in knowledge, or as it says in Daniel, it makes Daniel write a really short book for the end of the world, for the short season, short scroll, short horn, short book, short space, short hour, mystery scroll, mystery hour, mystery space, where Satan, the beast, and the 10 kings of old are given back power after the 1,000-year reign, and it comes back out of the abyss for a short season and a short horn for a mystery time of mystery Babylon the Great's final insurgence at the end of the world. Insurgents. I think I said that wrong. And during this insurgence, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen and has happened, all right? Only in the mystery season, short horn, short scroll, short book, okay, is the insertion of the name of blasphemy, because it says he comes back out of the abyss for the short season with the name of blasphemy. It comes back out of the abyss with the 10 kings of old given back power, which is the 10 horns, the 10 kings, and the 10 crowns on one beast, okay? And he comes back with the same power as they had before, all right? Now, there's a lot of check marks I've done over the past couple of years on that whole short season stuff, all right? But there's also this. The stirring up of the nations at war is another thing that's been taking place. The final battles of Gog and Magog in the 4 quarters of the earth, which is the whole world divided together in Gog and Magog. We're Magog over here, the enchantress, the sorcerer of Magog, okay, over here. And we are making war with the world and stirring up people in this great and final battle that doesn't even exist until the end of the world according to your own Bible, okay? And there's a whole lot of things that happened during Mystery Babylon the Great's reign that Daniel saw that terrified him so much that he literally passed out in the Word and was sick for days after seeing this. It scared him so bad. John, when he was revealed these things in Revelation chapter 12, the short scroll he was handed and told to swallow, that would be bitter at first and then sweet as honey, okay? That terrified him so bad as well. But he was told to swallow it because it has to be spit up and prophesied again at the end of the world. All right, both of them for the end of the world. That's why it says, pray that ye flight, which is an exile, be not on the Sabbath, nor be in the winter, for a tribulation will come upon the land in those days that has not been since the beginning of the world and will not be again. All right? That's at the end of the world. That's not at the beginning of a new age or the end of an age, like the 1,000-year reign or before the 1,000-year reign. This is at the end of the world during Satan's short season, where he comes back and is handed back power to destroy the world. The whole world this time. Not a 2/3 part, not a third part. This is the whole world that gets destroyed this time. Okay? Which is why the last trumpet has to blow and bring back all the dead to life. That doesn't happen until the end of the world. And then there's a separation that takes place. Some are taken to second death to die again. And then there's some that are brought back to life that remain behind because they don't have to go to second death. And they get gathered into the barn forever. All right? Well, this terrifying time that was not since the beginning of the time is very important to understand today, because, man, this stuff I've put together will blow your minds. I want you guys to think back to the Atlantean kingdom, which is the kingdom of the deep, that sunken kingdom from the beginning of time, all right? Where you have your water gods, which is like, in Greek culture, which is like your Neptune, which is Poseidon, which is all of those, and Aquaman's whole story of that sunken kingdom of technology, and also the sunken kingdom of mermen, all right, which is water dwelling, because water was here before there was land. You need to know that. All right. Well, with that being said, you need to notice one commonality, okay, between Atlantis, between India's culture of Hinduism, and also with the depictions of Satan. They all, I mean, this isn't just them. I'm going to cover several, okay? You have Poseidon, Shiva, the trident of Conch. You have the Atlantis lore, and then you have Hollywood. And then Satan himself, they all carry a trident, okay? Which everybody thinks is Satan with a pitchfork. It's not a blame pitchfork, okay? It's a trident. And see, they won't tell you that in Sunday school. They tell you he's got a tail like a snake, I mean, with an arrow on it and a pitchfork. It's not a pitchfork, it's a trident that goes all the way back to Atlantis. Just like in Hindu culture, Shiva carries a trident. Okay? In Egypt culture, they hold a Vajra as well. Egypt and Hinduism culture have the Vajra. This is why Elon Musk, I think it was 2 years ago, made this random post that blew everybody's minds, where he posted a picture of 3 Coke cans that were empty. And then a trident Vajra with it as well, and a gun up there as well, okay? Which is very, we're going to talk about that, it'll blow your minds. All right, and some of the things that he's involved with, and also America in general is involved with. Understanding the trident is what we're going to get into first, of why a trident has always existed and why a trident has always been needed by these gods. Because remember, it says to have no other God before the Most High God. Even God the Father says there's other gods. And even Yahusha said that Satan is a god of this earth as well. There are gods, and they are your, as Greek cultures put them, the gods, which is like Zeus and Hermes and Apollo, and you can go with Hades and all of them. Just that whole Greek culture, they're called gods. And what happens is the Titans of old, even in Greek culture, come out of the ocean to attack the gods, and the gods get the human beings in the middle of all of it and make it seem like, oh, they're coming for you, and they're not coming for the people, they're coming for the gods, and in the meantime, all the people get crushed and destroyed. Even in Hercules. In Hercules, Hades goes over the ocean, opens the abyss, and the 4 Titans come out of the abyss, literally, and go and attack Zeus on Mount Olympia. The people are just caught in the in-between to die, okay? And they have their hero of man, Apollo, there with them, / Hercules, okay? All the same stories. Now, check this out. I love not having y'all's comments distracting me, but I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know what's happening in the background, okay? But please don't be distracting other people, because they're going to miss the purpose and the point. I'll go back and read your comments after this video, but until then, I don't see nothing, and I love it. All right, so let's keep on going here. Now, the trident is what we're going to talk about first, and why it is. What is a trident? A trident is a tuning fork, okay? Hence why they call it a pitchfork. It's a tuning fork. What is a tuning fork? Well, even Flash had to use a tuning fork to fight. Do y'all remember the guy's name? That Flash had to use a tuning fork to fight? I can't either. Do you remember that guy? Who's the guy that Flash had to fight with a tuning fork? He's in the wheelchair, the hovering wheelchair. He's got the mega mind. I can't remember his name. But even Flash had to fight with a tuning fork, with his lightning bolt, his son of Zeus bolt as well. Okay? Why? What's up with the tuning fork? Well, the tuning fork is all about resonance, which is a sound, a frequency, a vibrational force that puts out, that cannot be seen, but can be felt and can be harnessed to be used as a literal weapon. Most of the time, people don't understand. It's not even just the atomic bomb that kills people. It's the centrifugal force that spreads out after the bomb drops that knocks things down and explodes things. Who? Clifford DeVoe. That's it. Yeah. And he let his mind huh? The Thinker. That's what he was called. Absolutely. Good job. That's my family there. They love decoding with me. All right. Now check this out. This is crazy stuff. Going back to Atlantean Kingdom first. Poseidon and King Neptune, both of them. And then later, Aquaman himself, the son of Poseidon. Think hard about these things. They all carried a trident. And in the Aquaman Rise of Atlantis, the movie, literally, the kingdom of the deep rises up against man, who's polluted their oceans. So they start casting back things that they've killed and pollutions and all this stuff. They start casting it back on the land. Since they polluted the bottom of the ocean so much, the kingdom of Atlantis casts it all back on the land with dead fish, dead marine life, all this stuff, and then tons of backwash of trash gets cast up on the shores. And then even you have the Atlantean gods come out of the sea and fight against man until Aquaman becomes the in-between man to stop the stuff. All right? Well, check this out. In that also, you have the rise of these huge titans that come out of the bottom of the ocean, even below Atlantis. They come up to wage war against Atlantis, which are these huge mythical beasts that are in the ocean against the kingdom of Atlantis. And they all have to fight against one another down there. And it's ultimately won, the war, by Aquaman's trident is what stops it all. All right? He's able to, and it causes all these fish and all these creatures to do what he says and do what he does. And he can even speak to these creatures using using a vibrational frequency. Now, here's this. Poseidon and Neptune's trident was known for, and this is in Greek culture, is known for shaking the earth, raising storms, calming seas, and having authority and power over chaos. In Hinduism, Shiva, you know who Shiva is, the destroyer, okay? Shiva, Trishula, okay? She was known to pierce time itself, to cause time to stop, cause time to hold with her trident, okay? And it was also that trident gave her the ability to create things, to preserve things, and destroy things, all with a simple trident stroke of bang. Okay. Then we have the trident's conch, okay, which is a sound. This is where you get the conch horn. Okay, like the cornucopia. There's a reason why they call it the cornucopia, which is what founded the New World of America that I said was buried by a mud flood. Can you imagine if it was a wong? A horn vibrational frequency that caused a huge tsunami event to bury a lot of the old world with waves and mud? Absolutely. Okay? So even our new world is founded with the conch shell, the conch horn, okay? But also the cornucopia, which is in the shape of a horn too. And there's a lot in the Bible about blowing on the horns to bring judgment, to bring peace, to bring all those things. Matter of fact, this month over in Israel, they're blowing 100 and some horns at one time. And can you imagine what they're doing with their sounds and vibrations and frequencies in the air? Okay, now let's keep going here. Let's look at Atlantis lore. Tridents are used as tuning forks for channeling power and harnessing the seas and creatures within. Hollywood. Have you seen the movie Troll yet from 2022 I told you to watch? Where it's this giant mountain that comes back to life and stands up and is this huge giant. And the only thing the military can do to fight it is they go and they grab the old Tartarian bells. Dong, dong. And they hook them over on helicopters and they sling them around the giant. And the vibrational frequencies that come from the bells, okay, drive the troll insane, okay? And they use that to harness him, and then they use a artificial sun, a light simulator, to petrify this thing back. Think hard. I just spit on my camera. Think hard. Okay, that's what took place in that movie. In that movie Troll, it shows the military rolling out bells to fight against the giant. That's why Tartaria had to also have their own form of frequencies and vibrations that they used for healing, but they also used for destruction. They used for creation, peace, but also judgment. And they used those noises to keep the things, as they say, to keep it at bay, to keep things of the sea and the deep from coming up on the land. That's why they existed all over the world, and that's why the beast and thing had to go back into the ocean, because there was this emergence of technology and sounds and frequencies that came upon the earth that kept things at bay. Fun fact, do you know what happened in World War I and World War II? What was the bombing campaigns where they bombed all the old Tartarian buildings and they burned over 1.3 million bells? And can you imagine what happened at the same time? Well, what I told you guys took place in Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. Once they got rid of the bells, things started coming out of the ocean in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then we started RIMPAC, and we started bombing the oceans all over again. And we had to come up with some new technology. So they created the 5Gs, 4Gs, 1Gs, cell towers, frequency towers, now that have been keeping things at bay and driving humans insane. All at the same time. Now, let's keep going here. This is awesome. I hope you guys are listening. I hope I have people even watching this. I can't see anything on my end. Facebook has me restricted, and they could be deleting me here today if the review goes through negatively. So this may be my last video ever. I don't know. But let's go on even further because I ain't even started yet. Let's look at modern day Trident. See, people don't pay attention to what's happening. They're too busy focusing on politics, polyparasites that are sucking the life out of you while you're about to get your life destroyed and caught unaware. And you're going to be one of those whose men's hearts fail them with fear due to what? Number one, lack of knowledge and the fear of the things that are coming upon the land. They're going to kill you with fear alone because you're going to be caught off guard. My wife just messaged me that there's 220 some people up here right now. Fabulous. I don't think I've ever had that many people on a live stream. Welcome, everyone. If you're enjoying this already, I haven't even got to the banana sandwiches yet. So how about this? If you guys could, real quick, if you're listening, hit the like button down below, or the love button, or the hate button, or the anger button, or it don't matter to me. I'd correct those little laughing faces at the end, because what I'm going to do is delete and block all you guys that are, this is a joke. I hope you guys realize I delete a lot of you guys instantly without you guys even knowing it. By the time you even hit that laughing face on some of my posts taken as a joke, you're already kicked off the page like some dust off the bottom of my feet. If you only knew about the amount of research I've put in here just for you guys to learn things, you wouldn't be brushing everything off so lightly, because wait until you hear all this. So once we got rid of all the Tartarian bells, they were like, oh no, we messed up. So they started creating things like this. Do you know what NOAA was known for? Not NOAA, not the National Ocean Anomaly, or whatever that whole thing stands for. Not that NOAA, I'm talking about the Noah of the Bible. Well, he was able to stay above the water and keep all the filth and demons and titans of the deep and stuff underneath him in the water, Noah was. That's why they named the NOAA after Noah. Okay, because this is what Noah has developed now to keep things at bay. Sonars, MFAS and the LFA, which admits that they have mid-frequency sonars and is tied to multiple mass whale strainings. They've admitted it. Okay? Whole pods have been displaced and coastlines, okay, have been loaded with dead fish over the past couple of years because of Noah and what they're doing to the oceans with these frequencies, with these vibrations, with these things that they're setting off of the ocean to try and keep things at bay. And it's killing things. And it's also causing herds of whales who go as their form of communication. Think hard about that. Think about what a frequency would do with them if they have ears that can hear hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Not ears, okay, not ears like we have, but they can hear hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Think about what a would do to one of those. It'll drive it insane. It'll cause it to swim in bad directions and swim up on shore. Listen to this. They have literally AHDs, which are acoustic harassment devices. Intentionally, they're even naming it that. Do you know what that is? They're used by fisheries and navies, and they run loud deterrents to keep zones empty. So like, for example, if I'm an underwater sea cable welder, and I have to go do underwater sea cable welding, and I'm like, oh, this stuff down here is worth millions of dollars, okay? I'm going to pay this man a lot of money, and I'm going to cover him. So they set off a covering, in which they they set loose what they call a bubble curtain, which is a sound wall in the ocean. See, I didn't even know this existed until I did some research last night. They create a sound wall in the ocean, which is literally called a bubble curtain, and it uses nothing but acoustic barriers while construction is underway underneath the oceans. Then they have the EMF corridors, which are offshore cables themselves that emit literal magnetic fields. Do you know what this can do to a creature? It can make it navigate wherever it wants to. Have you guys seen Finding Nemo? And you've seen where they get caught in the EAC? Gnarly, bro! Oh, Nemo, you know, the little turtle guy, they ride on his back and they ride the EAC current. There's a reason why they're called currents, and there's a reason why magnetical field pulls can actually change the flows and currents of the oceans. Currents, not just your water currents, but the currents of an EMF underneath the ocean, electronic magnetic field underneath the ocean that can reroute animals from messing with things. Then they have this. It's called electro fences. These are also used by your governments when they send down naval divers and things like that to do underwater events. They set out what they call an electro fence that is supposedly only for deterring sharks. And you know what it's all over? Sea cables. Can you imagine why the Titans, as soon as they've been released here in this short season, can you imagine why they're going straight for sea cables now and snapping them right now? Same reason why Atlantis, that movie Kingdom Rising, took place. They go after what destroyed them. They go after what hurt them. They go after what broke them first. So they go and broke the sea cables. They're going after the navies, and they're going after the coastlines that have been coming after them. And they're blaming it on us. Listen, this will wake you up. Let's look at the 6G grid that's coming right now. By the way, I had the pleasure of baptizing a man last year in Colorado. And this man asked for his name to be kept off the books because he was part of a company. And it's not just a company. This man was a millionaire and took part in like a lot of what's been taking place in America over the last years with the 5G towers, okay? With the frequency towers, also HARP involved in that. He took part in installing all that stuff until he woke up on my channel and he shut down his own business. I'm not even kidding. After he found out what was really happening in the background. And I don't mean thanks to this page, but I mean thanks to the Most High for showing me to show him things. Gave up his whole business after he found out what was going on. But he told me some things. See, everybody's thinking, well, 6G, this and this and that. Look, we were on 5G before they even told you we were on 5G. They only had one more line to connect to even get one more up from that when right before he quit. And you know why they make it while they do? They run off fiber optic cables which if you snap them, if you cut them, and they're still in line with one another, all it does is put off a ray of light and has to pick it up from the other side. It can be cut and still work. They have to be cut and separated in order to even cut it now. They were smart. Showed me a lot of fancy mess. I've learned a lot of things over the last couple of years out of people that I just baptized all over America. But let's look at this. Let's look even further. This is quoted from this. I'll pull all these from articles and quote these things to you, okay? Physics say that terahertz beams can't penetrate seawater as far as 6G frequencies. But do you know what they can do? They can set a barrier above the water that stops things from coming out of the water. Meaning it can't penetrate the water, but let's say you're a titan of the deep and you want to stand up in the sea. You can't if there's beep and all that mess going on above your head that drives you crazy. Hence why they're starting at the bottom of the ocean, snapping from there, and then they're going to come up like they have been. Now let's keep going. 6G towers and 5G towers can also be used for me and you, because we put off, and this is why I love Sabrina Wallace, okay? Sabrina Wallace is one of the only people in this world that I really, truly only want to sit down and talk to face to face. As far as like, I need to make time specifically for her, just to tell her things I got going on and to hear things she's got going on. Because I think she's like a female version of me. It's crazy, okay? I hope she hears this one day. I was on her live stream the other day, and I was actually talking to her in the chat while she was live. It was really cool. But me and her, we click a lot, and we ain't even met yet, okay? She'll tell you some things about your biofield that you put off. Do you know how you're tracked all over the place? Your biofield, a satellite dish, a internet box, a TV with a router in it. Any of those things can pick you up, and they can set off frequencies that'll drive you insane, drive you into anxiety, and cause your ears to ring, and cause you to dream things they want you to dream as well. Think I'm joking. There's a reason why when we go to bed, we unplug everything in our house completely. Turn phones off completely. That's why they took batteries out of the phones ultimately, and that's why it says still can track your location when you turn your phone off now, because they keep part of it on. And they took your batteries out so you couldn't unbatterify your phone. So that way when they want to turn a frequency on, they still could. That's why I just want to take this phone and throw it away. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. In about a month, if that, I'm out of here by November. I'm out of America completely. I'm heeding the call. I'm heeding the warning. I'm leaving this place, not for my safety, but to go to be a minister to all the rest of the world, while this place that's caused all this worldly drama is destroyed. And I'm going to go away with a testimony to speak to others before they get destroyed too. I'm going to go down with them. As the word says. So let's keep going here. 6G is a conductor that synchronizes sonar arrays, acoustic devices, subsea EM corridors, and aerial coverage. It integrates sensing, communications, ultra-low latency, extreme directionality, and you have to imagine like this, like a pod approaches the coast, and a 6G tower or a 5G tower can pick it up. So it'll deploy a... Can you imagine why there's these random pulses? Everybody thinks it's strictly to control the weather. No, it's because something was getting awfully close to our coastlines and bing! And you see these pulses going out into the ocean. Everybody's like, oh, they're just trying to push clouds. They're doing far more than pushing clouds. What it is they've dug themselves in a hole right now. You're in the hole. You're in the pot. You're in the doodah. You're in the cauldron of the melting pot of Mystery Babylon the Great. And you're about to get up and smoke an ash within only an hour. All right, now let's look at this. As of this week, the 15th, Unite Us kicked off, and I'm not even going to have to touch that anymore. This is their 66th integration event that's taken place since 1959, when they had their stop of carpet bombing the oceans. they created the Godzilla series in 1958, and in 1959 they started RIMPAC, which was first patented during that time and developed later, okay? All of that stuff began around the exact same time, and this is the 66th year and the 250th anniversary birthday of the Navy. Let's keep going. So that's happening right now, which is the biggest naval exercise in the whole world. 25 nations come together. American only supplies over 8,000 soldiers. So many warships, amphibious warships, unmanned submarines, where they're doing live fire drills, live fire sink drills, underwater bombings, again. And they have over 25 nations joining them. While we're in World War III, while the people think we're in World War III, there's World War Unitas happening in the ocean. But not just that. Did you guys pay attention to what's happened in San Diego the last couple of days? See, there's been a lot of distractions in your politics here lately. Donald Trump even set up his own little golden idol this week. But on top of that, while y'all are wondering after Apollo's bright light, I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Bzzz, and then you're zapped by the blue flame. That's a bug going into an electric light, by the way. Guys ever seen A Bug's Life? That's like my favorite line from that. My kids watched that movie 1,000 times. I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Bzzz. Yeah. Anyway. While that's happening, here's what happened off San Diego's coast this week. And there's no reports as to of why. There's a whole lot of helicopters over there right now off the coast of San Diego. There's even warships spotted right up against the coastline with zero documentation of why they're truly there. Right now. While all this other crap I've been telling you over the past couple of months is happening as well. But then there's this. Don't you know what else happened this week? They developed their brand spanking new. Let me see if I got how much money it was. It was a whole lot of money. Their brand new E4B, A, B, C, D, E, A, B. Okay, I'm trying to see if I got some numerology happening there. They got their brand new E4B replacement of their Doomsday plane deployed for test runs that they just developed. And right now it's in the air, patrolling. Do you know what the Doomsday's for? It's to keep Apollo Donald Trump safe while the rest of you perish. And that's deployed right now. That's just been created and developed and rebuilt right now. This time alone, this year, there has been more deployments of this thing since September 11th of 2001. But let's look at this. Let's look at the marine oddities. Okay? 3 days ago, I think it was 3 days ago now. I can't remember what the article said. I have it here. There was this rare sunfish that's so rare that it's been documented as a very big deal. This huge sunfish that's like 6 some feet long or whatever came washing up on California's coastline this past week. Okay? Along with all the other mass strandings and the first ever devilfish that beached itself, along with all the other doomsday fish that have washed up to shore too. Put it together with the frequency stuff I told you at the beginning of the video. The word says that in the end, 1/3 of the fish are going to be the first thing to die. And then it's 1/3 of the man. Because of wormwood. But anyway, let's keep going here. Let's look at this. I made a post earlier, and I don't know if you're paying attention or not. There was another 7.8 earthquake in Russia. But on top of it, there was 5 others that were above 5.0. And this has been constantly in the exact same spot multiple times. And they've even canceled tsunami events. But what's really happening? Have you guys, I noticed Matt Bingen has noticed, and I noticed Matthew Bridges has noticed in my post before. Have you not looked at the depths of these things? All of them except for one are the exact same depth. 6.2. Do you know why that's important? Why 6.2? This is openly admitted. Look into it. 6.2, not only is it 8, they said that the beast that comes back out of the abyss was of the 7, which is why he's also 666, but rests during the 7. But it's also the 8th. 6 plus 2 is 8. When it's labeled as 6.2, it doesn't mean it was literally 6.2 miles. This is called a default depth. Look it up. It'll blow your minds. The default depth, if it cannot be determined, they put 6.2. Meaning they don't want you to know what's really happening. Look it up. This is mind-blowing stuff. 6.2 is what they put. When a quake is uncertain or unverified, they put default depth of 6.2, which is perfect coveraging for this. Look. These things we have on our cell phone now, these tracking devices, these earthquake apps, these things like this, they didn't exist prior to 1990s. And technically 2000s for us. But now we have them in our hands. They weren't in your hands during the bombing campaigns. They weren't in your hands during Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and the 170-some carpet bombings we did with the hydrogen bombs and Bikini Atoll Islands that took place between 1945 and 1958. They weren't in your hands then. So you don't even know what they do in the ocean. And now they're just going to play it off like there's earthquakes. They're keeping something from the coastline of Russia right now. And what they're doing is setting off seismic charges at the bottom of the ocean. What that is, have you guys ever even seen Aquaman or any of those movies? See, the military uses those. A seismic charge. Where they drop something in the ocean and it goes boom, 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 and it blasts. Which means right now, they're setting off seismic charges on the coastlines of the Ring of Fire, trying to keep something from coming on their land. Why over there, though? Because all that war has knocked out so much power in Ukraine and parts of Russia, meaning they have no field of frequency towers active right now on certain parts over there, meaning they got a breach. That's why you're seeing so many over just the past 3 weeks. You're seeing so many huge earthquakes taking place off the coast of Russia. No, they're making a seismic wall in which they can say a tsunami's coming in case something bad happens, and then they cancel it. They're setting off seismic charges. They did this exact same thing in the 60s. The U.S. W-44 set off nuclear depth bombs and seismic charges word for word. Soviet underseas nuke planning also took place during the Cold War, where they were just bombing underseas for no reason during the Cold War. Depth charges mimic earthquakes identically. What is an earthquake? It's an earthquake. It's a charge of the earth, a pulse of the earth, a seismic movement of the earth. Okay? Boom. So right now, you're literally having helicopter swarms and subswarms and naval swarms, not just in the Atlantic, but the Pacific, the Venezuela coastline, Drake Passage, Russia, Arctic Circle. Every part of the ocean right now is flooded with the most naval. This is what Donald Trump put out this year. He demands, I forgot how much exactly, an increase in naval ships right now. It says that, and see, here's the thing. Your kids, your sons and daughters and nephews and grandkids that are in the military right now, they don't know what they're getting into. As most don't. They just do what they're told. And then it's too late, just like in that movie I was telling you about. They're like, this ain't what I signed up for. They're putting themselves in the middle of something serious. See, Zeus, Hercules, all them, they had the people team up against this whole Titan thing. And the thing is they should never even got involved. Your sons and daughters and nephews and uncles and grandparents, whoever is in the military right now, they're going to die, and it's going to be your own government's fault. It says they will try to stop these things. Haven't you read Job? It says that the ships go in the sea, and there is Leviathan that makes play with them. You have your sonar sweeps, you have your EMF corridors, you have your what I call it earlier, the bubbles, the bubble curtains that they're setting off, the electro fences, the AHD, which is acoustic harassment devices, all those things happening, which are the new modern day tridents. All happening. I'm shut my laptop. It's up to you to wake up. I've presented, I don't know how many hours of just mess that you guys are ignoring. So many of you guys are ignoring. But if this didn't wake you up, nothing will. I'm going to drop off here. I'm going to let this be a short video. Okay? I need everybody to look up right now at your skies where you are, especially if you're by the coastlines. Ask yourself, what are they really spraying over top of you right now? Why are they covering things so much? And then you'll see pulses in those clouds. And you're like, I wonder what they're pushing out that way toward the coastline. I can't do everything as far as like figured all this stuff out and then spoon feed you little chunks in a comment, okay? There's some people that come up here and they're like, hey, what did I miss? Can you tell me real quick? Or, hey, I don't want to watch this video. Can you just give me a summary? Or, hey, can you... I can't watch this because it's 2 hours long, packed with information, and I got to go to my son's baseball game, or I got to go to my daughter's softball game, or I got to go to these other Roman circus events, or I'm going to miss the game. It's up to you to be caught unaware and your kids and all of you have to pay for it, or do what the word says and prepare yourself because he's giving you all kinds of signs and things to see. Anyway, love you guys. I don't know who said anything today. It's been kind of nice not having comments in my face because I got everything out so short, sweet, and to the point as some of you wanted. Have a good night and or day wherever you are in the world today, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye from Beyond the Veil. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Veil Live.